So in my mind, this job is rich. Am I right? Bring you to this. No? Okay.
What a waste of money. They're just cracking your back and taking your money. Like they're not actually doing anything, blah, blah, blah.
Some physio, they don't believe chiro.
Historically, there's a fair bit of animosity between chiros and physios. And it's like a recorded sort of history, especially in Australia. Like going and studying chiropractic at university, it doesn't make you good. It makes you safe. 3-year bachelor degree. And then a 2-year master's degree.
Oh, you have to be a master? Then you can work, right? Okay, welcome back again. Hannah is my colleague. If you want to know all about her story, he's 29 now, but he goes through 3 cancer, almost 2.5 cancer in her whole life. If you want to know how to face that, look back to this video. Today we are talking about chiropractor life. If you want to be a chiropractor or if you want to come to Australia to have a treat with a chiropractor, watch this video, okay? What is chiropractic?
So we are a primary healthcare provider that helps with the way that your body functions. So a lot of people just think that we're the bone cracking.
For TikTok, you want
Take a big breath in there and out. Yeah, good. Oh, that was a good one.
So good. Oh.
Good job. That if you've got back pain, you go to a chiropractor, but it's so much more than that. Your body's not moving properly, or if you've got poor posture, anything like that, it affects the way that your body moves and functions. So
not just for back, it's for jaw, for anything with the bone, right? The joints.
Yes.
The joints.
Beyond that, we say we're helping the nervous system. The nervous system is largely tied into the way that your body moves. If your body's not moving properly, your nervous system isn't going to function properly. So all we're doing is helping your body move properly by using the adjustments, which is the cracking.
She's Dr. Hannah.
Chiropractor.
Oh, chiropractor.
You have to put chiropractor after my name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Legally. What attracts you to be a chiropractor? So in my mind, this job is rich. So am I right? Bring you to this. No? Okay.
Back in the day, like old school chiropractors, it used to be called like, a license to print money kind of thing. Like it's, and I say that with big quotations, because there didn't used to be as many chiropractors, and there was, back in the day, had a lot more freedom with what they did and how they charged and things like that. Whereas now, better now in terms of that. But I feel like a lot of people enter the profession because they go like, chiropractors make a lot of money. And that's why they get into chiropractic. And in my personal experience, I find the people that go into it with that mentality don't do as well. So I watched my parents go when I was a kid. In my early teens, I'd watch them go and just think, what a waste of money. They're just cracking your back and taking your money. Like they're not actually doing anything, blah, blah, blah. And then when I was 15, we noticed that all of my dresses were shorter on the left side. So Mum took me into her chiropractor. He took x-rays and assessed my body and looked at everything, and we found that my left leg is actually longer than my right one. So my pelvis sits crooked and it causes a curve in my spine. So he treated me, and it was after him treating me that I realised I actually had back pain at 15. I didn't realise that I was in pain because I thought it was just normal. Like that's how you were supposed to feel. Sort of founded an interest in chiropractic in me. How cool that you can help somebody that easily and that non-invasively and give them such a good result.
You start to believe.
Start to believe. So it literally took like 2 treatments with him, and I was like, this is unreal. Did a work placement with him, like when I was in school. I went and spent like a week or 2 observing him in clinic, and thought, I want to help people like that. Like that's what I want to do. This is in Mackay, and so.
Did you tell your mum what do you want? Does your mum take like serious or take like joke?
No, took it serious. But then we found out that for me to study chiropractic, I would have had to move to Sydney or Melbourne or Perth.
Mackay don't have the...
No, I couldn't afford to move away to study, so I was going to be a high school teacher instead.
Really?
Yes.
You high school teacher?
So I changed my plan completely because I couldn't afford to travel to study. But then halfway through grade 11, I found out that they were opening a chiropractic course in Mackay.
Ooh, good.
So I went away from teaching again and back to chiropractic. I graduated high school, went straight into chiropractic. So to be a chiropractor, it's a 3-year bachelor degree. and then a 2-year master's degree.
Oh, you have to be a master,
yes.
then you can work,
Yeah.
right? 5 years.
5 years of study.
bachelor.
It's the bachelor's just a Bachelor of Science.
You cannot work
specialised
as-
in chiropractic, but you can't do anything with it until you get the master's.
How much every year?
So it's different depending on where you go to uni and what uni you go to. So I went to
Central Queensland University.
Central Queensland University.
I studied
in Mackay. So because I was in a rural location in Mackay, it cost less than it would have if I'd studied in a big city.
Brisbane.
So the course is available in Brisbane now, but it costs more to study in the city than it did rurally. The bachelor cost, it was around about 10 grand,
10
a,
grand
year.
a year.
And then the masters, so it was 2 years, but you have to study all 3 terms for the year.
Oh.
So you do 6 terms over the 2 years.
That's a lot.
And it's more like 10 grand a term. Big hex debt, but it's still less than if I'd studied in.
But totally, if you want to be a chiropractor, 5 years time, plus
100. I think mine was about
90.
90. But then with the index it went up and all that is terrible. Yeah.
Did you pay the loan back already?
Not yet. Not yet. No, I'm way off. It's a lot of money.
A lot of money. How you deal with it? You have cancer, still study.
It was on uni break.
Oh,
it was really good timing.
Nah, what you should not say, but yeah.
It was so it was good timing. Good time to have
Good
cancer.
and bad timing. Yeah.
In the final year of the masters, so when you're a 5th year student, you go into student clinic. So that's at the university. There's a clinic, and you're caring for patients under a supervisor. And that's what all chiropractors do in Australia.
For chiropractic, it's easy to do at home, right? You just buy a table.
Like you can practice anywhere.
Why you choose to work for other people, not for?
A couple of reasons. One is that what you'd call an associate. I like going to work, doing my work, and then going home
Switch
and
off.
getting paid, and that's it. Whereas if you're a business owner, you're worrying about it all the time. You never stop working. But also for me, like I would love to own my own practice one day, but because of my health history, if I get cancer again and can't work,
The business is not run.
The business
it's a
wouldn't run.
bigger responsibility
Yes.
for you. Yes, true.
So that's not something that I'm comfortable with my medical history. I might change my mind in the future and decide that it's worth it, but for the
For
time
now?
being, I'm very happy with where I'm working now.
Good.
How much you earn for the year. If new grads coming out, if you are getting close to like 100,000 for the year, you're doing very, very well. When
The average $80,000.
yeah, it's around about $80,000. So it obviously varies a lot between where you practice, how long you've been practicing. If you choose to work like a really metro area, you're not going to earn as much because there's more chiropractors. There's a higher density of chiros.
Competition.
Per person. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
If you were to go work somewhere really rural, so
Village.
a friend of mine works very rural Queensland, and she's the only chiropractor for like 200 kilometres or something like that. So she is busy all the time, but then she's living in the middle of nowhere. Like I love the convenience of living near a big city because there's more to do. I have more fun concerts and festivals, and it's easier to get flights in and out of places. So I make less money where I am now, but there's the convenience of the
Parts.
location. Whereas my friend probably makes a lot more money than I do, but she's a lot more isolated kind of thing. So there's that to consider as well. When I moved to Brisbane, I had 5 years of experience, and I sort of put feelers out and looked into a lot of different practices. And I think I had like 4 or 5 job offers when I came to Brisbane, because I'm not going to say an experienced chiro, but I've got more experience than a fresh grad straight out of uni kind of thing. So I had a bit of interest job wise, and I chose to work for Mark, where I work now, because of his presence in the community. It's a long-standing clinic. It's got a really good
40
reputation.
years, yes.
43 years.
43 years,
like
yeah.
such a long time. That's who I want to work for. That was an unreal opportunity that I was not going to pass up. I saw the ad and I just called him and said, "Are you hiring?" And I just had a chat with him and we got along really well, and I'm very lucky that I showed up, and he is such a good boss. Like he is a really good man to work for, like who he is as a person, but also how he does business. I really enjoy working for him, which is very lucky.
Yeah, find a boss similar with find a partner. You know, some part. You know, you need to trust it. You need to like his personality and like the story behind it.
It's such a personal thing. Like you go to your GP, but it's just the GP kind of thing. Whereas, or at least the way I practice, I have a good relationship with my patients. I've built a good rapport with them, and it's a lot more of a personal thing. So that's why I say as well, you don't just need to work on your skills as a practitioner, like the way that you're adjusting and the way that you're treating people. Also work on yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're confident in who you are and like your goals as a person, and you're bringing more than just adjustments, like you don't just step into the profession and start making a lot of money. You have to put in the work, you have to do extra training, put in the hours, really work on yourself.
And you have to build a repetition. You know, even
yeah,
someone
exactly.
they are there, but nobody trusts you. You have no money,
Yeah.
right? No.
So I believe that no one style of practice will suit every person. There might be two people and they've got exactly the same problem. One of them might respond better to chiropractic care, which depends on the chiropractor. One of them might respond better to an osteopath, but it depends on the osteopath as well. So I genuinely believe in a multifaceted approach to healthcare, because I don't believe I'm the answer for everyone who walks in my door. And I will be upfront with a patient about that, in that if they come in and they say, I've got this, I'll say, okay, we'll take a history, we'll do an assessment. If I think that you will benefit from chiropractic care, I will tell you. If I think that you will benefit more from care elsewhere, I will tell you. Yes, I talk to my patients about what's going on with them, like, oh, their neck hurts or their shoulder hurts or something like that, but they might come in and say, oh, I've been getting this weird pain, or I've got this strange cough. Because a lot of people will come to us as their
GP.
primary care practitioner.
Yes.
And I'm not there to replace a GP, because everyone has their own role within healthcare. But if they're coming in and telling me about these other symptoms, I can say to them, hey, this is something you really need to go to the GP for, or this is something that you really need to talk to
hand therapy, food therapy,
someone else.
someone
Yes,
else.
exactly. For the way that I practice, I see a lot of value in doing that, because then I can help my patients more. I'm not going to stand there and say, like, I will fix all of that for you, but I can stand there and say, done what you've told me, this is what you need to do next. This is, I look at a person as a whole person and a whole body, not just a neck pain.
Some physio, they don't believe chiro.
Historically, there's a fair bit of animosity between chiros and physios, and it's like a recorded sort of history, especially in Australia. Like, you can track back where there's been issues between like mainstream medical and chiropractic and all the rest of it, which I won't get into for you. But for me personally, I believe that if we all work together, we'd get really good results for patients, which should be the goal for any practitioner in any field. You should be wanting good results for your patient. Everyone should get their spine checked by a chiropractor, or get their body checked by a chiropractor, in the same way that you would go to a dentist to get your teeth checked. It's important to look after your whole body health. I think it was 2 weeks ago we had World Spine Day. Was that 16th of October? And we offered free posture checks and spinal checks. There's no treatment, there's no you should do XYZ, which I think is a valuable thing that people should do. Get your mental health checked, get your spine checked.
Yes.
To be as healthy as possible.
True.
Whether you do that with a chiro or a physio or an osteo, like, it's just all about feeling good and functioning at your best. It's about look after yourself.
Very friendly. You don't want to fight with anyone. Yeah, good. So for this job, any pro and cons? As I guess, that's what I say, huh? For pros, definitely the work, time flexible, because you got time to check your cancer, But if you're a teacher, like, it's hard to go away and away, right? For kids. So for this job, flexibility for time definitely is a pro.
My biggest pro for what I do is that I get to look after people. It brings me joy. I love going to work every day, because I get to see my people and look after them, make them feel good, make them happy. I really, really love it. Obviously, there's the benefit of the flexibility with hours, which obviously comes with where you work. I've got a good boss, so I'm sweet on that.
Yes.
Thank you. Happy with my income. They're the pros for me. Cons, I would only really say there's one con for me personally, and that's because it's such a physical job, and because I'm getting closer to 30, it's taking a toll on my body. Like, just the aches, the pains, the tension, because for me to treat the way that I want to treat, it's very, very physical. So literally this year I've started, like, it's probably a little bit late, but I've started taking a lot more steps to look after myself so that I can keep practicing for a long time.
Your her fingers, thumbs,
elbows, shoulders.
So that's good. This career sounds very perfect.
I love it. Like I was saying before, the people who choose to study it and enter the profession, like, wanting to make a lot of money, they're usually the ones who don't do as well, because it's not just snap your fingers and all of a sudden there's income. It's a lot of work.
And mentally as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people might say that the cons are, oh, I'm working more than I thought I would have to be. I'm not as busy as I need to be. I'm not making as much as I thought I would. And it's quite common at the moment for new grads to last maybe a year and then drop out of the profession because they're not making the money that they thought they would be. But it's, if you're in it for the money, that's more likely to happen. But if you're in it because you are passionate about what you're doing and caring for people, then you're never going to work a day in your life, which I don't think I ever
Which
will.
this job's not that crazy money anymore. As what I know, $80,000 a year, average is not a crazy thing.
But you look at any profession, like an accountant, and they're making 150K a year. They might own a firm. They do specialist job, but that's not what the average accountant is earning. And it's the same with chiropractic. You might go, he's earning 200K a year.
Oh, someone truly can earn 200,000K a year?
Yeah.
Really?
But it's certain circumstances. So that chiropractor might own 3 practices and they're getting income from all of those. Or they're seeing a crazy amount of people. So it's hard to go, yes, I'm going to earn this much, because it
This
depends
is just to pay
how
by
you
hours,
practice.
You are, anyway, you're a component labor. So how many days do you work now? Still
I do
full-time, right?
3.5.
Not
I find
many
a lot of chiros do like 3.5, 4 days a week.
Because the money is okay, enough to use, right?
Like you find what days are going to be busy and you stick with those. So for me, I find that Mondays are really busy, so I always work Mondays.
Yes.
Whereas other chiros, they find that
Thursday,
that
maybe
their
they
Fridays are
Friday.
super busy, so they will work every single Friday. For study, really get into your sciences. Sciences in school. So I only studied biology in high school, which helped me a lot, like with human body systems and anatomy and physiology and all the rest of it. But having a bit more background in chemistry and physics as well would have been really helpful. But also take opportunity to learn from practitioners as much as you can. So if you have a family chiropractor, ask if you can go and observe them and see how they practice and what they do, and like ask what they would recommend or exercises that you can do, because there are some things that I learned at uni and then afterwards as well, like to warm up for a shift.
How? Like arms, fingers?
Like stretches, muscle activation stuff, just to make the shift easier. So Mark is really good, like the current boss, because
Our boss.
our start time is half an hour before any patients arrive. Get in the mindset, get in my like chiropractic head, rather than walking in the door and then going straight into the room with a patient before I'm sort of...
Another question, different people have so different styles. Like for example, my experience, Mark and John, maybe similar style. Like they will go...
little oomph.
Right description. And Craig, another Carol, will do more gentleman style. And Hannah wears what I like is still got a crack, but it's still got a gentle
somewhere
part.
in the middle.
In the middle. For the student who new graduate, they don't know who I can learn from.
See as many as you can. And a lot of people will just go to their family chiropractor because it's easier and they already know them, but you already know how they practice. So if you want to actually learn and utilize that time, go to someone completely different and go look at one that you haven't seen before or been treated.
Big street, I was so scary.
Like I love having students come and observe, and I try and get them involved as much as possible so that they can learn and get a feel for if the way that I practice works for them, they'll find out sooner. But then also if they don't like it, they'll go, oh, that's not for me, and then can move on to something else. Going and studying chiropractic at university doesn't make you a good chiropractor. It doesn't make you good. It makes you safe. One of my lecturers, David Hanna, said this to us, and he said the real learning starts after you graduate. But once you graduate, that's when you're really going to learn and find your niche and sort of really hone your technique so that you're a good practitioner.
Did you remember the first patient after you graduated? By yourself. You go by yourself. Are you feel like scared or no?
No. The very first adjustment I did was when we were at uni, and the way that we practice adjustments is to fake them. So to practice the movement, but you're not aiming to get the actual adjustment. You're just practicing the movement on the other students. So you're always really sore after a practical class. And then the first time I adjusted someone was an accident because I didn't fake it enough. And I actually adjusted them, and I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? But then I think because I got the first one out of the way doing that, from there I'm like, I know what it should feel like. It's fun. I love it.
Well, first time I go chiro in my whole life is this clinic. And True. With the Craig.
Oh, true.
First ever.
Yeah, right.
So he asked me, got some risk, potential risk. You will lie down here forever. Is that right?
The way I said, there's risks with everything.
Yes. Even risk for you walk on the street.
Exactly. The risk with chiropractic care is very, very low. Been looked into extensively, and there's a reason that we practice the way that we do and do the testing the way that we do, and send for x-rays if we need to make it as safe as possible. But it's exactly the same as driving up the road. Like legally, we have to go through the risk with you, so it makes it sound a lot scarier than it is. But that's why I call it informed consent. I'm informing you of the risk and you're consenting to treatment.
Yes.
So this is my 6th year of practice.
And
And it was for me, it was 6 years of study.
Yes. Oh, good. Are you still not regret for this
Never.
job? Never.
Never. I will never work a day in my life.
How?
I love it.
Like how Australian people, many they know what they want very early.
I feel like it's not that common. I think I'm very, very lucky that I knew what I wanted to do and that I got to study it and that I get to work in it. I'm so lucky. I've known people who are my age who are still figuring out if they want to go to uni or not, or what kind of field they want to work in. So I very much understand how lucky I am, and I'm grateful that I know what I want to do and that I've gotten to do it.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If they have question, I will ask you for the career about chiropractor. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
点关注不迷路。